super fun. Yeah. Hi. I think I'm back. Let me know if you see me or hear me or whatever. Let me know if the sync is off, blah, blah, blah. Hello, Starry. I am indeed a back. I'm a back. Why did you just whistle John Cena?
I didn't.
Oh. The sync is off. What direction?
It's not John Cena.
I agree. But what you did sounded like John Cena. Mer. I am. Audio, then picture. I heard audio first, and that makes sense because I deleted the picture on the last one. So basically what happened was the last time something was wrong, and my my camera had a render delay. I had to add a render delay to the camera. So now I've turned it off, and I should be in sync again because these were my original settings that I've been using for like the last couple weeks. So this should be good, theoretically. All right. Yep. Cool. All right. I don't know what was wrong. Anyway, so I'm not going to use that drawing app again, which is a shame because I love it to death. I mean, maybe I'll look up why that happens and see if I can come up with a solution because I really like that application a lot. It feels good. It writes well. I don't know. It's just good, but I'm not going to use it because it totally usurps the entire system. So I don't even remember what I was testing. Oh, player movement. Eventually. There we go. Debug toggle. Okay, that's great. We're not moving at all now. Good. Oh, it's set to is kinematic. It is not kinematic, technically. I think. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we forgot to add a move threshold. 0.1, actually probably smaller than that. 0.03. And a faster swoop. All right, so that works fine enough. However, it feels a little bit. It's way too linear, for one thing. And the faster you go, the larger the threshold needs to be, which also that makes perfect sense. Though it's kind of, it jumps when it hits a threshold sometimes. Not sure. All right. So anyway, technically this is working, but it is ugly. Basically, is my issue with it. So, my previous idea, which I think was kind of working, and I just didn't. I didn't work the. I didn't fix the idea up enough. Is you might try having a coroutine to lerp up the maximum speed. Let's see here. So Todd, what I was thinking and what I did last time was I exposed an animation curve and basically had a threshold to start that animation curve, and that animation curve would affect your velocity until you actually, hit your destination, if that makes sense. And that allowed me to get, theoretically, some really good control on the movement. That was my initial idea. And again, I think that I abandoned it because it was problematic, but I don't know why it was problematic, and it makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm gonna try it again and see what happens. Also, what is this called? Brio? No. Logitech camera settings? Yeah. Oop. Okay, cool. So, I want to try that again to see whether, now that I have things like better built, it just works this time. Because things are a lot cleaner and a lot more clear, clearly maintained. So it might just actually work the way I want it to. So I'm gonna try it, and then I'm going to continue serialize. Why are we slow still? Is ReSharper still starting up? Doesn't look like it. That was weird. Private animation curve. Ease curve, and also a private float threshold to ease. All right, so we're gonna expose those and then set them really quickly. Threshold to ease is going to be 1 for now, and the ease curve will be something like this. Oops. Edit 0.5. So it'll basically slow down to half its speed until it hits its position, and then it'll lock into place, in theory. Just to see whether this is working. So, yeah, I guess I don't need that in this setup. Var ease multiplier is equal to, if we're within threshold, current y, and this is why I was going to make at threshold into a function. Current y is, yeah, I need to do that. All right, hold on. That needs to go. At threshold does actually need to be a function where you simply pass in both values and convert property to methods. Getter is at threshold, which isn't going to be what I need yet. I want to pass in the current. This thing is going to be the move threshold. That's, and the position. Current y target y move threshold. It's going to do it every time, which is probably okay. Oops. Nope, don't create an overload yet. Just whatever. Move this out. And that's going to be called what? Move, no, target Y. Ugh, stop it. Stop it. Target Y. Var target Y equals that. Yes. All right. Now I need to go here. Float. Current. Float target. Float threshold. Spell everything correctly and things will work better. Transform position Y was current. Target. And threshold. Okay. Return that. Cool. This can now be static. And that allows me to use this in here as well. So, var multiplier ease multiplier equals is at threshold current y ease threshold to ease, and oh my gosh, stop it. And then of course move threshold again. So ease multiplier is equal to if that. So if it is at the threshold, then we begin to evaluate the curve. And it would be the current distance to, so it would be the vertical offset divided by the ease threshold, which I'm going to rename to ease threshold because that's what I seem to want to call it every time. And if it's not that, then it's going to be 1. All right, that is long and ugly and monstrous. Woot. But, I mean, it makes sense. It works. Or, I don't know if it works, but it does make sense. I think it does look like it's slowing down. Let's make it really obvious. Or more obvious. I'm quite unsure if that's doing anything at all. So I'm going to do something really super weird. Oof, I lost a lot of viewers because of that restart, didn't I? Man. Alright, I'm not sure that it's doing anything. Oh! It wouldn't be doing anything. I didn't actually, use it. Times ease multiplier. There. Let's not have this at 5. Doesn't really look like it's... Hey, hey! Why can't I do anything? Wah! I got stuck on something. Not sure what I got stuck on. So that's going to be a problem. But yeah, I'm not sure that it's doing anything right now. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not. All right. So, ease threshold is oh, wait. That's not right. That needs to be here, and this actually needs to be the destination Y. The only difference here are, yeah. Oh, which, by the way, I can just get rid of that and call that target Y. All right, clearly that's doing something. It's not what I wanted to do. But it is finally activating, so that's good. So, where do we go? I'm gonna debug log the ease multiplier and see what I get out of it. So it was 1, and then it started super small and got super big and closer to 1, which is certainly not how I want it. Which means I need to swap this division around. I think. Ease threshold, no. I just need an opposite curve. Is there like a function for reverse the curve or something? Well, let's try that. All right. Okay, here we go. Oh, that stopped way early. Probably because of a negative value issue. Yeah, there's something going on with absolute value or lack thereof. What happened on that last time? It went directly from 1 to 0. Because evaluate is not doing absolute value. Okay. Now, what happens if you drag your finger along? You have some precision control, and then, yeah, okay, this is working wonderfully. I mean, it's not perfectly tuned, but it's definitely working. So that's great. This is the right ease, approximately. A larger threshold, and definitely, actually, an even larger threshold, and then a much larger speed and a slightly larger move threshold. How's this work? That's a little too fast, a little too agile. So 4.5, split the difference. Cool. All right. Awesome. That actually works well enough that I'm fairly happy with it. So let's see here. I should save this. I should lock my keyboard, and then I should. Is-kinematic is off now, which is how it should be. Which should mean that I can collide with things more accurately. All right, let's close everything except for that, and source tree. Oh, before I do it, that's gone. Changed player movement. No. To a velocity-based system. Dope. All right. So this is an ugly ass method, so I'm gonna refactor this, make it better. So, excuse me. If not at threshold, is. If not at threshold, current Y, current, yeah, okay, good. Then do this stuff. Okay, and let's just actually reverse these. Put that there. Put that here again. Get rid of the knot. All right, so if at threshold, stop moving. Otherwise, move towards target, pass the data in that you need, and here, don't need that anymore. Vertical offset is calculated and then used in everything. Yeah. However, no, this is. I don't like having to pass something in to the move towards target. I mean, the target is already known state, so I'm gonna put this here, and then should I? Seems silly, right? Yeah, I don't. That literally make me do it twice. All right, I'll pass things in for now. Consider not passing things in. I can make an overload just in case I ever need that. Yeah, let's do that. So thank you. Thank you, Kirk, for your cheer. I am going to make these pigeons quite restless. Private void. Yeah, let's just make an overload that I don't need to use right now, but I could use in the future if I needed to. This is such a dumb overload, though. Why? No, okay. Just maybe add empty parameterless overload. Parameterless overload. That is not spelled right. How do you spell parameterless? No, parameter. Oh, meter. Parameterless. Yes. Close enough. All right. Question mark. Cool. So, that is working better. So, the reason I'm moving towards this architecture is I want to be able to use this movement script on other birds and on other NPCs. Right now, this entire script is designed to only work with the Y axis, and that's not what I'm going to need later. I'm going to want to be able to move on any axis, depending on where that character's target is placed. So this is going to have to change, for sure. But at least for now, we have a velocity on this bird, which allows me to do what we wanted to do before. So let's see here. Let me open Trello on a different screen. Make sure I don't accidentally share information that I'm not supposed to yet. Good. And Good. All right. So, change all movement systems to fully support non-kinematic rigid body. I haven't quite done that yet. I've only done part of that. I changed the player movement system, but not the character movement system. That's going to take a much bigger change. And I might do that today. Let's see here. But I think I can fix this right now. So let's actually put this on top and do it. Can poop up through bird due to moving down while defecating. All right. So the problem I was having is, I guess I need a phone to pull this off properly. If you move down while you poop, the poop, you can like literally fly through your own poop, and that's just weird as hell, right? So I wanted to augment the poop's movement with the downward with the downward velocity of the bird itself. So basically transferring momentum from the bird to the poop. So it's gonna be in pooper, and we're gonna need a rigid body finally. Again, private rigid body. Oh. All right. Yeah. So private rigid body, that's getting access to its own rigid body, which should allow me to add a new velocity and for now, what happens if I literally just add the current rigid body dot velocity? It's probably not going to feel good, but we'll see. All right. So if you're moving up, the poop moves really slowly. And if you're moving down, the good news is you can't run into it. So it's hard to run into it. The bad news is now I've basically just reversed the problem. Now if you poop and you move up, you can... No, this is right. Okay. Excuse me. That's actually working pretty okay. The target is now totally maybe not. The target that's moving around left and right to indicate where you're about to poop is definitely wrong. So I'm going to swoop down, and as I hit the poop button, it does not take the actual velocity into account, I think. Let's find out. Oh, that's an old message to myself. It can go away. All right. What is this thing doing? So, it gets the I'm going to call this the pooper height. It gets the pooper height. It gets the spawn point position. What is for dinner, Peter Strin? I don't actually recall. Sparrow told me, and then I forgot. I'm sorry. And then we get the speed, which is literally just pulling it from the pooper. And this is actually going to be Air resistance? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the congrats on affiliate. Yeah, that's super exciting. Air modifier? Or air resistance, probably. Because that's technically what that is mimicking. And this can be air resistance. And do that and add form serialized field. Good. Okay, cool. So that is now called air resistance, and the higher you put that air resistance number, the less the further back the poop will end up going. Basically, it's a cheat for air resistance, but I think that it's okay to cheat on that. Cool. So time is actually time to land, time to landing, and that's going to be the pooper height, and then all of this stuff. Now, the problem here is that there is a velocity that's now not getting incorporated into this calculation. So, what's the answer for that? Divided by gravity. I think that's the answer. I need to... Okay, yeah. I need to do something closer to gravity plus or minus. No, plus math f dot absolute value of basically player dot velocity, player RB dot velocity, something like that. Should get me pretty close to the right actual calculations. This is going to be a field, rigid body, player RB. Gotta put new in here. New rigid body, player RB, and player RB equals pooper dot get component rigid body. Boom. So let's see here. Let's rename this to pooper rigid body. And then here, velocity dot y. I think 9.81, and then adding more negative velocity to that. Actually, not absolute value, just negative. So gravity minus pooper velocity will become a positive if the velocity is negative. Yeah, okay. Let me try that and see if that works. Compile errors. Woo! Ah, it's because this never got saved. All right. So I do think got a really fast jump there. And I think that makes sense. But I'm not sure. Let me just add a lot more health so that I can test it as much as I want.
I can't work.
Why not?
Sitting on it.
Oh.
You need to move. Move. Move.
This is really hard to tell. Whoa! Did you see that? Okay, so not good. You should definitely not be able to poop like that. And yet here we are. I knew that there was going to be an issue like that. I just couldn't find the right timing for it. Actually, let me put a stream marker on that. Oh, I need it. No. Twitch. 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 Sorry if that's making sound. There we go. All right. Add a stupid stream marker. Yes. All right. So, this is bad. This is definitely not what I want, but it is something that I started to suspect was going to be able to happen once I noticed how quickly this was changing directions at times. Hi.
Hi. Aww. Hi, baby cat.
And I'm not sure exactly why. Let's see here.
I came to bother you.
Yeah, you just have to hit it right, and it goes. So why is that happening? It's as if velocity is really, really high for a short time. I think. So I'm gonna log out player movement velocity for now. I guess just on update. Debug.log rigidbody.velocity. And see if we can't see what's happening. So you look down at the bottom left, you can see the velocity values that are occurring, and they get capped correctly at the swoop speed. Oh, I guess it's just because for a very short period of time that's this game's version of peeing into the wind. Yes. For a very short period of time, you're literally switching from a velocity of negative 4.5 all the way to positive 4.5. That's a that's a 9-unit difference in velocity, which is actually really, really big. I mean, that's basically double gravity. So that's why this is switching so quickly. So actually that makes a lot of sense why. So what happens is while you're going up, as you're going up, if you switch directions immediately after going up, the poop continues. That could be like the name of a shitty band, The Poop Continues. Or a movie, a bad movie. Alright, so yeah, that's what's happening, is if you poop while you're going up and then immediately switch directions back down, the poop has been given your vertical momentum, which means that it flies over you. Now, that doesn't make sense. Because, like, theoretically, the poop would just hit your butt, right? It would get stuck to your butt. This is a problem. This is a problem, guys. What do? What do? But you can use the swoop to launch your poop a little harder, which is what we wanted from the very beginning of this stream today. It's just you can still do weird stuff with it, and I'm not sure what to do about that. I mean, you could just intercept the poop yourself, right? In theory. You just be like, that's mine now. And it doesn't damage you or anything because you don't give a shit. But then people would be confused at why they're not pooping. Because if they go like this and you just intercept it immediately, it just disappears. And they'd be like, well, pooping didn't work, but I lost poop meter and health, so that's not fair. So the problem really only happens as you poop while you're changing directions. Alright. So I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm very unsure what to do about that. But I will think on it. Technically, we're closer to the solution that we want. You could ensure when moving upward, you still add downward velocity as opposed to adding upward velocity. Well, yeah, but then I'm just adding velocity all over the place. Like, the idea of being able to swoop downwards while you poop was so that you could actually, like, intentionally control, you know, the aim of the poop, essentially. It's going straight and closer to straight down as you swoop downwards. What I could do is just not add velocity if it's going up. I don't know if that'll fix the problem, but that is of interest to me. Excuse me. So, this, plus, if rigid body velocity dot y is less than or equal to 0f, then use rigid body velocity. Otherwise, plus vector 3, 0. Right? Do those not work inline? Yeah, okay, those don't work inline. Well, I mean, they do work inline, but only if you put them in quotes, or parentheses. Good to know. Let's try that, and see if that feels any better. Hey, okay, not quite. Now you can just follow your poop for a while. Fake poop physics, man. Ugh. So that doesn't quite work. Also, I've got this log going, and I don't need that anymore. No, stop it. Ah! All right. Yeah, so doing that was close, but not quite, because you can still basically just follow your poop down, and that's a little silly. Maybe I do need to make it so that you just reabsorb your poops. What if I literally do that? Totally unrealistic, absurd, dumb, but what if when you poop, if you touch your poop, you reabsorb it? I don't know if that's any good, but I'm at least interested to try it. I should commit what I have now, because what I have now is mostly working. Let's see here. Added negative velocity component to... Oh. Added player's negative velocity component to poop velocity. Make poop landing zone display follow the poops current velocity. Yeah, exactly, Joe. You could literally build an achievement tree on the idea of catching your own poop, which is absurd, but I don't know if it's a good idea, but I want to try it because it's just really weird and unique. So to do so, first I need to make it so that when the poop spawns, it doesn't actually, like... Where are my gizmos? Gizmos! Why are you not showing up? Oh, because you were that. Okay. When the poop spawns, it needs to spawn a little bit down and out so that it doesn't just, like, immediately get eaten up. I'm not sure that's the answer. I'm thinking maybe just flying with the poop is probably all we need. At least for now. Like, it's a very specific circumstance in which that visual weirdness happens, and it doesn't really affect the functionality of the game or the purpose of the game or anything like that. So maybe I will just leave it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it for now. Also, poop consistently has been a little too small, so let's... That's a lot easier to see. Okay. No, I think that, at least for now, this satisfies this fairly well. I actually already started doing that. Change all movement system to fully support non-kinematic rigid body. All right, so that's where we are. Source tree. I just changed the prefab. What did I do? I just made poop bigger. Make poop bigger. And oh, I should get rid of the serialized as property now, because that information is saved. Should add the word new to this. And why do you not like that? Oh. Sure. Rename to lowercase rb. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Make poop bigger. Rename rigid bodies and use new. All right. Cool. So, I guess now I have to change this player movement script so that it works the same way, but is able to accept different directions of movement. That's not gonna be easy. Well, maybe, I don't know. Let me take a look and see what I have. I have a swoop speed. Now that's gonna become a vector to, no, the swoop speed is just going to become speed. Yes, formerly serialized as, and then let's just get that information in. Cool, and now we can get rid of both of those. All right. What am I using from system? Don't know. Oh, that should be mathf. Okay. Anything else? No. Good. Cool. A move threshold makes sense as a float, and that can apply to vertical and horizontal and diagonal. Player target. This should probably be renamed to move target. Yeah, okay. Thank you, computer. All right, so that's move target now. Which I should update in here. Move target instead of player target. And this player prefab should, yeah, good. So let's just rename this to move target. Move target, move target. Good. All right. Ease threshold. Similarly, you'll just be using magnitude to determine the threshold instead of basic subtraction. And then ease curve. Again, yeah. Okay. So all of these actually are completely compatible with going into multiple dimensions of movement instead of just the y-axis. What about this stuff? Rigid body, container, and move target. Perfect. That's fine. And we need container because we want to spawn its move target into the container. Okay. Cool. At threshold, this has to change to using vector 3s and magnitudes. So, vector 3, before I do that, I'm going to save everything. Again, refactor of player movement into a basic movement script via renames. Speaking of, this should not be player movement anymore. It should be just a movement script for now. It'll get more specific again later, but not yet. Now, I need to make sure that that change propagated. Yes, this is called movement, and it's still there, and all the values are still set. That's good. How do you code on Unity? I'm doing it right now. You study a lot, and you practice a lot, and you read documentation, and you watch tutorials, and you make projects, and until you have a handle on things, and then you keep going because you're never going to know as much as you need to. Always learning. Beyond that, all I can say is Unity nowadays only uses C#. It used to use a custom language called Unity Script, and they basically deprecated that, so you can't use that anymore, or you can, but it's not supported and not updated and not preferred. So that Unity Script was like a JavaScript type language, but just don't use it. Learn C#. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you other than there are game objects, and each game object can have components. So I've got this player game object, and I've added a whole bunch of components that do different things. And you have to tell the component what to do by programming in C#. How do you get the software to code on it? I know. Oh, okay. Well, when you download Unity, it, I believe, automatically is going to ask you if you want to download Visual Studio Community, which is what it uses now, for the most part. So just download Visual Studio Community unless you happen to own Professional or Enterprise, and yeah, just start coding. I don't know how to answer that more than I just did. So we are working on renaming things so that they fit the scheme. I'm not going to actually change methods other than renaming stuff yet. Current, target, and threshold. That makes sense. Rigid body, sure. Set container, sure. Spawn move target, yeah, good. Spawn move target, instantiate target prefab, transform position, identity, container, transform. Yes, okay, that's all good. Attempt to move towards target. That's fine. Current position. Target position. Woo. At threshold, takes current and target position, and then uses a move threshold. Sure, stop moving, fine. Move target, move towards target, target position, and current position. That's all fine. Awesome. So, next, private, move towards target. Again, this is defining the axis, and I don't want to do that anymore. So we're gonna rename these target and current. Why don't I just do that up here too? Current and target. Yeah, sure. It's a little shorter and nicer. Okay, yeah, that's not what I wanted. Typo. Yeah, okay, it doesn't know what to do with that. That's fine. Vertical offset. Okay, here we go. So vertical offset will actually be called offset instead of vertical offset. So you see what I'm doing right now? I am setting the stage for switching this to a fully Vector 3 enabled movement component, but I'm not actually changing anything. All I'm doing is renaming stuff so that when I do make the changes, everything will already kind of be there and be ready for me. So that's what's happening right now. Ease multiplier, that's fine. At threshold, current target ease threshold, ease curve, offset, ease threshold. Yeah, all of that is fine. And then new vector. Speed. What is speed? Oh, literally. Okay, yeah. The movement speed. Good. Stop moving. Just sets everything to 0. That's fine. Okay. And that just hides a field. Cool. Create a project. Download Unity Hub. It's a really nice program that Unity built that allows you to keep track of your projects and also keep track of what version of Unity your project was made in, and it makes sure that you open that project in the right version of the program. So over time, like, you get updates, but maybe you have a project from 2 years back that uses a totally different version. So opening it with the newest version might require a whole bunch of changes, but it will help you to open it in like the right version. So download Unity Hub and hit new project, and you'll make a new project. Hi.
Stay up.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
I like sushi. So anyway, when you make a project with Unity, it will do all of the work to create a new project in Visual Studio as well. If you're talking about just a Visual Studio project, that's more complicated because you have to, when you install Visual Studio, you have to make sure you install the correct frameworks to be able to create a project. That I'm not going to go over that because that's not really on topic here. At least not right now. But you can Google it. It's I tried to do it once recently and I didn't have everything installed that I needed. Yeah, if you go to, I believe, check for updates, you can modify your current installation to add things like the .NET framework and C++ project templates and stuff like that. That's how I went about it, at least. All right, so let's see here. I renamed a whole bunch of stuff. It's all good. Gonna save this and make sure it plays, and then I will actually commit that. Yeah, that's all good. Okay. Wonderful. Delicious. Excuse me. Delicious poops. Cool. So, All right. So now we get to do the more fun stuff. Let's see. This needs to change. At threshold needs to take in a vector 3 and another vector 3 and a float threshold. Then we're not going to need absolute value anymore because you can subtract the two vectors from each other and then find their magnitude. And then determine whether that is less than or equal to the threshold. So that's actually pretty much identical to the previous method, just it takes a vector 3 instead. So that's good. Obviously, there's going to be a problem down here, but let's just go a little more structured than that. Container, it doesn't need anything. Move target, instantiate at its own position. That's good. And attempt to move towards target is also good. So, okay, we're into this one. Current should just be the current position and the move target position. So, at threshold takes current, target, and move threshold, and stops moving if it's at if it's within the movement threshold of the final position or the target position. Move target, target current. These two need to have vector 3s instead of floats. Ooh. So that gets rid of that compile error. And we just need to change this stuff, and it should actually just work out of the box, I think. It will suddenly only depend on where you're putting your move target. So, mathf absolute offset over ease threshold. What I need instead is the offset magnitude divided by ease threshold, and the offset magnitude will always be positive, so I again don't need the absolute value of anything. So offset dot magnitude divided by ease threshold, or 1. And finally, this doesn't have an offset. It doesn't have a sign. So instead of all of this, what is this doing? This is saying that we want to normalize the magnitude and then multiply it by speed. Okay, so offset dot normalized, and then just get rid of all of this, and that good. Stop moving, vector 3, 0. Did that do it? Let's find out. It might have. I almost want to say yes. Yep, that did it. Cool. Now this component can be placed on any unit or character or object or whatever, and all I have to do is rewrite the AI code so that the movement target is positioned differently. So that's a little bit of a problem, because right now the move target and the movement component are completely separate, I think. And I think that's a problem. Let me check. All right. Move target. Where do I see that? Spawn target. So it takes care of its own movement target. That's good. And it keeps a reference to it, which is also good. So maybe this code inside the move target should this be somehow like part of it being in movement? Upper and lower bounds. This is all about controlling where the player can move. Clamp Y position also controlling where the player moves. This is necessary to, it's based on the right tap, so again, player movement. Clamp Y position. Conversions, screen point, that's more player movement. Clamp Y position, that's related to player movement. Calculate lower and upper bounds, player movement. All of this move target is completely player related. So the reason that matters is I don't want to put any of this code into the generic movement script. I want to put this code somewhere that it's only player movement, basically. I'm not sure if I want to use inheritance. I probably don't. Here's the thing. Move target. Hi.
8.5.
Ooh. Sushis.
Yep.
Thank you. Well, Sky, that is the food. That is the dinner. Is the sushis. True. She says it's just a snack, not really a dinner. All right. I'm not using the fact that it's a move target at all. I'm only using the fact that it has position. So I actually only need a transform here. Today's stream, Code Central. Yes, lots of code today. I didn't know that it was going to be lots of code, but it turns out that I had a whole bunch of, like, restructuring that was in my to-do lists that just needed to happen, so here we are. All right, transform is going to be a target prefab. Right, okay, cool. So I could put... So that allows me to put anything in there, and it will always move towards that thing. That said, in this particular, in the player movements case, I'm going to put a move target that is moved by the player. Yeah, okay, this works. Or I could create an AI component that would control itself. No. Thoughts are hard. All right, I'm gonna leave it like this right now because I'm not ready to actually add AI movement yet. That's coming, but this is going to work. I just don't know if I don't know. All right, well, let's keep it like that right now. Ease threshold, blah, 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 blah. There should be one thing. Where do I use this? Target prefab is only used to spawn itself. And then it's saved to move target, which is also used here. It's already a transform, so I don't need the word transform, just position. Okay. Cool. So, this move target is now going to be called the player move target, because nothing anywhere depends on it. Yeah, good. Nothing depends on player move target. It's just a way to get data into movement. And that's exactly how I want it, because then I can create AI components that do similar things but control them by themselves. So this should still... Oh, no, not quite. It shouldn't work yet, because I need to bring in a new target prefab, which is probably this one, and it's probably named incorrectly. Player move target. Rename file. Player move target. Yes, good. All right, so select the player and drag the player move target onto it, and apply just that. Cool. Okay. That should work. Yeah. Good, 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 good. All right. Also, I want the poop to be more visible, but I don't want it to be so big. 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, and just give it like an emissive material. If you missed what I said an emissive material, i.e. a material that emits light, which of course, usually poop should not be emitting light, but we're going to make it that anyway for now, so that we can see it clearly. Heck, I might even make it glow, because, like, that's fun, right? Emission. Color. Oh, give it, like, a tiny bit of a yellow-green tint, right? Yeah. That's gross. Yeah. Wonderful. See how that works. Well, it's actually not very visible when it crosses the horizon, but other than that, it's quite visible, so that's good. And at this point, maybe I should make it into a sphere mesh. Which I don't know... It's not easy to do anymore. All right, I'm gonna make a sphere underneath. 1.25. Oh, that's not right. 1, 1, 1, and 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. Yeah. And get rid of that, and get rid of that, and get rid of that. I think this uses gravity. Yes, good. All right, and like so, maybe. This might have messed something up, and if it did, well, I'll have to fix it, but let's see if it did. Oh, I probably need to add some NPCs to actually find out, right? So, for instance, that, these should be triggers, not colliders. So the problem is that I have a sphere collider right here, and it should be a trigger. Dies. Good. Actually, I should make sure it dies by opening up the container. Yeah, okay, good. So, that's fine. And if I also add into the scene a bunch of NPCs, I should be able to poop on them and still score. I cannot. Wonderful. Great. Good. Why not? What are they expecting? What have I broken just by changing this to a sphere? Sphere collider is trigger, and it doesn't need a physic material. It's got a fine radius. All of that's right. All right. What's going on? NPCs are not getting hit, and I'm not quite sure why yet. Score hit happens on trigger enter. If it's another one of these get component versus get component in parent. The collisions don't travel up to their constituent rigid bodies. That is unfortunately the problem. I've already got one to do about this. And now I have a second one. So that's fun. But now, once I actually hit, yeah, there we go. All right, it's working again. Okay, so, the special double tap doesn't work anymore, which is interesting. Presumably the poop is killing itself again by hitting itself. All right, so let's work on that. And that's because we changed its structure into having its mesh underneath its actual object. It's got to be a better solution, but I'm not going to work on that yet. Right now, I'm just going to make sure that poop doesn't kill itself. Which, again, so yeah, that's 3. All right, I'm going to put that to a higher bug level, I think. Where was it? Here. Okay. Because that's reaching pretty far into the problems. There we have it. I missed. Cool. Okay. Wonderful. That all feels good. So yeah, let's see here. I do feel it, I think, getting sluggish, and that's because there's a lot of non-optimized stuff in here. Plus, when it has to talk to my phone, again, it gets even more sluggish because of that. So it's getting a little bogged down already. So I might have to do some optimization at some point, but I don't think I need to yet. So I'm just going to not do that yet. But what we have done is, let's see here. Make movement axis independent. And then adjusted assets. Make poops into sphere. Sure. All right. So that's most of what we did. There was something that I noticed that I wanted to work on, and I don't recall what it was. Oh, wanted to look at Trello, see what's left. Can fly through ground. I can fix that really quickly, right? Make the ground into a collider instead of trigger? Oh, not quite. No, make my bird into a collider. Body. How much is this gonna break? Always the question, right? Let's see here. All right, so I'm damaging myself. That's good. And I can't fly through the ground, which is also good. And I'm still damaging myself when I try. And I'm moving people, but not myself. I'm moving myself a little bit. Yeah, that's an interesting fact. Huh. I kind of deflect a little bit around people, which might be interesting. Obviously, ideally, you're not going to have enough health for that to ever matter, but it's okay. Yeah, and you definitely can't touch the ground anymore correctly. Oh my goodness, they are just lining up on each other, aren't they? Wow. I could have made a lot of points there. Cool. Why are they lining up on each other? Was that just a random occurrence? I think it might have been just randomness, which is interesting. But I don't know. Cool. So I'm actually happy with the way that just changing it to a collider works. And because of the work that I've done on the architecture, changing it from a trigger to a collider actually didn't mess anything up, which is great. So that got rid of that. Poop falls straight down. That should stay there. This is definitely closed. Player target does clamp now perfectly. Choppy vertical movement has been closed, and can fly through ground has been closed. Awesome. Player never reaches destination. That is also completely closed. That's not happening anymore. Sweet. Today we closed a bunch of bugs. How about over here? I'm still working on changing the entire movement system. I changed the movement system, but the NPCs are still relying on their old movement system, and I haven't worked on that yet, but I will. Let's see here. For placing objects, research power line placement, find a way to change that is actually, yeah, I'm just gonna that's definitely a next type of activity. Split session manager into chunks. Yeah, that's low. Okay. What about these? Environment generation, not ready for that. Refactor code with Zenject, not ready for that. Limit number of taps per side. Maybe I don't even need that at this point. Excuse me. We'll see once I start doing UE stuff. Yeah. I probably will end up needing these. So I'm going to leave these. This definitely needs to happen at some point. I'm starting to feel some performance issues, and the object pool will help with the performance issues. So I'll put it into soon rather than later. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I think we're done for today. What I'm going to do next, this was a really code-heavy day for us, so I'm probably actually going to start working on replacing some of these assets with, like, actual things, like a bird and a person and buildings and stuff. At least temporary assets that will, all of a sudden transform this from nothing into a visually looking like a game. So I think that's going to be my next step, is to work on some of that stuff on Saturday? Is today Thursday? Yeah, on Saturday. Let me just make sure I didn't break any of these hazards. I don't think I did. Yeah, those still pop. That's good. I still collect. Interesting. So you kind of bounce, or when you hit a power line, it's not it. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Cool. No stream Friday. So right now I've been kind of pacing myself. This all works. This is fine. This is great. I've been kind of pacing myself, doing 3 days a week, 5 hours a day. And I haven't decided whether that's going to be my final speed yet, but for now I am only doing Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm probably going to start changing it next week to a bit later, because a lot of the time when I would get, like, I didn't get one today, but I've gotten a few raids from other developers, and whenever I got a raid, it would be like at 4:00 p.m. or something like that for me, and that implies that if I start later in the day so that I can catch those raids towards the beginning of my stream, that might actually improve things in terms of the number of viewers. Can you guys let me know what you think about starting a few hours later on the days that I'm at? Oh, thank you, Colforsh, for following. Yeah, just let me know. Actually, let me know in the Discord. I'm gonna type the Discord here in case you don't know it. Let me know in the Discord how you feel about times. Make sure you include your own time zone so that I can make the correct calculations and determine, like, what people like, how people feel, blah blah blah. Yeah. So, anywho, I'm gonna, I guess go, because I've only got 3 minutes left. Thank you so much for attending the stream, and we had a lot of good work done today. Let's see, what did I do here? I literally just changed player to collider instead of trigger. Cool. And I'm going to push all those changes we did today because they're all good. Or at least they all work. All right. We will do this on a different screen. Or you just saw. Wonderful. Whatever. Yay, security. Push. Score. All right. We are committed. We are good to end. I saw a comment that I wanted to take a look at. I totally stealing some of your neat code formatting hacks. I'm a little obsessive about code formatting. It's kind of a problem, but like my brain is really scattered, and so if I don't have an organized way of keeping things as neat as I possibly can in my code, then I'll just lose all concept of context and get really confused. So feel free to steal anything. Feel free to give me tips if you've got coding formatting hacks that you do. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.